Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the law of attraction, manifesting success stories show comes in. If you are ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello, and welcome to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am back with Kate of K8 for Wellness for another interview in her Years of Growth series. Welcome, Kate.
Oh, thank you, Cassie. It's good to be back.
I'm so excited. We're just talking. So for listeners, it's February 2021, and the last time that we did an interview was around September 2020. So we have a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, we do. A lot.
I'm so excited.
I can remember. I know, same here.
Do you have a total we can celebrate?
Yes, of course.
Yay.
Of course. I have, it's $258,255.45.
Yay. Oh, that's amazing. How does that feel?
It feels awesome. I always say, I was like, wow, I can't believe, I think I say this at every episode. It feels like it's been a long time, but it really hasn't been.
Right.
Really take a look at that. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So will you talk, because I think like one of my missions is to get people to understand like change doesn't take 6 weeks. And actually, as I say that, I'm sure that's your mission as well. And
sure
so talk a little bit, because I love when you said, it seems like a long time, but not a long time. I mean, we're pretty close to going into year 4 together with a minor break in the middle. And so what does that mean? Like it feels like it's been, but it's really short. Like 3.5 years really is a short amount of time to manifest $250,000.
Yeah. It's crazy because like you said, it is my mission too with what I do. So it's all about showing up, doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we fall off, but it's also getting back on track. And it's kind of consistency is key. And that's what gives us what we want and what we're working towards. And if we're just thinking it and not doing it, that's a different story. Yeah, we're all about manifesting, but you have to kind of step in that direction to get the results, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of, when you think about it, when I see it in my line of work, I'm sure you see it too, because now you ask us to commit for 5 years. And for me, I ask people to commit for 6 months, and they're like, oh my God, that is too long. That is such, 6 months. Oh my goodness. They get scared of that commitment. And when they do the 6 months, they decide to commit to it, and they look back and they're like, wow, that was nothing. That was just a blink of an eye kind of thing. It went by so fast. And it's kind of the same thing. I mean, like you said, we're going on year 4 with a minor break in there and a little bit in the middle. But it feels like it was yesterday too.
Yeah.
That I signed up with you. So when I think about that, I'm like, wow, it feels like it was just yesterday that I flew to Colorado, to do my 10,000. It feels like yesterday when I flew to Arizona, to my 100,000. So it's just, time is just, the way I say is just a number, right? And what we make of it and how we perceive it and what we do with it. And for me, it's all about just sticking to the plan and doing the work. And you look back and you're like, oh, that was nothing. And that's exactly what I get for the 6 months with my clients too. Yes. Like, wow, that was nothing, and it was not nearly enough time to even do what we needed to do to get them healed. Right. And I feel the same way. It's been 4 years and there's still a lot of layers that I need to work on. And so it feels like it's been, it feels like it was yesterday, but a lot of growth has happened. That's why I say it in that term. A lot of growth has happened, but I still have a lot more to go. And I love that. That to me is appealing. And I love that I have that to focus on and to work towards.
Yes. I love it. And you were actually the first 5 year where I had that commitment and I said, you can come back and we can do this. And here's the offer. Which is now that I like when you mentioned it, I was like, oh, like of course I knew what was coming, but I didn't know what was coming. And so what had you say, like, yes, this is where I know I need to be for 5 years?
Yeah, and it's funny because why I said yes to that is because I know that there's a lot to uncover. I mean, look at what I've already did in the 4 years, right? And I
Yeah.
know there's that much more. And I know that there's, for me, the habits that were instilled were from when I was really young, and that
Mhm.
takes time and it still
Yeah.
shows up occasionally. But the fact is I know about it and I
Yeah.
can, correct it rather than, waiting 2 years down the road and saying, oh no, it came back. I have you to remind me of that. I have the work that we need to do to remind me of that.
Mhm.
um, and I'm not perfect. I don't do my work every day, like I want to, and I always say I need to. um, but I've this time around, I'm going on inspiration and when it
Mhm.
feels good and not forced, because in the past I forced it because
Mhm.
I said, oh, I have to do this if I want it to work. And that's still the wrong mindset to come from. So now it's, being sure that it's inspired and not forced. And it's a better experience this time around. And I feel that it's deeper because of that.
Yeah.
So every time I show up to do it over again, I'm a different person. So it's nice to start from the beginning again,
Mhm.
because I've changed. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's why I think it's important to do the 5 years, because we grow, we change, things change.
Mhm.
And it's nice to have, and I'm a big believer, I'm a coach, I'm a big believer in having coaches because they see the bigger picture
Mhm.
versus us. And so it was nice when you said 5 years, I'm like, oh, yeah, I definitely want to do that. I
Yeah.
definitely want to do that. If you had said 10 years, I would have signed up for that too.
Awesome.
Well,
I
there
love
you
it.
go. It's coming. It's
Yeah, it's
coming. I know
coming,
it's coming
right?
now. It's coming.
It's coming. I love it.
So I think, it's just because of all the growth and all the change that we do, we become new people and we have
Mhm.
new things, a new way of approaching things. We do need that. And that's why 5 years just doesn't seem like it's too far out for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I committed to that.
Yay. Well,
Yay.
I'm so glad you did.
I am too.
What is your biggest aha or growth in the last 6 months?
Oh, I love this question. Um, the biggest one, because I've had a few. The biggest one is, again, being open and allowing things to show up, and to see things that come my way,
Mhm.
because I felt that my business was the way to go because I could do that anywhere. I love
Mhm.
it. It has this certain, I was able to do my own schedule how I wanted to do it. And then when we had COVID, when the pandemic hit, I couldn't do my side job anymore. And then I was like, oh, I got to start looking for something to fill in the gaps because I know where it's slow for me for my
Mhm.
personal business. And then this job popped up that I can do anywhere, has the same schedule that I was doing with my personal business. I mean, it was just perfect and it fell into my lap. And instead of me saying, no, that's not my dream job, I said, okay, I'm willing just to listen and to see what it's all about. And it ended up being perfect. I mean, I can travel anywhere and do this anywhere, which is so cool. And it brings in a lot of extra money, not just a little. So
Yay.
it's become my primary job, and my personal, like, nutrition stuff is on the side now. And I fill that in with that. And that is so satisfying that I'm able to do that because I can work with people that I want to work with,
Yes.
who are my ideal paying clients.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not hunting for them. They're finding me. So I am not on social media all the time, unless I want to be. It feels
Mhm.
inspired. Whereas when I was trying to grow my business, I had to be on it all the time to get the audience and,
Right.
to keep that content going. I don't have to do that anymore, and they're finding me, and they're perfect
Yay.
paying clients. So it's fun.
Ah, I love this because our future self guides us and takes us. And when you have practiced for so long that living of your future self, and we've gotten so clear and you did so much scripting of it, like you can't attract the thing that's not that. I mean, you could, but you would have to choose it. But like
Right.
it, our future self guides us, and it doesn't have to look the path that we thought us. It's like, oh, here's this big income. Yes, completely get clear about what it feels like to only work with the best fits, the best paying, the best, all of that. And we'll just take care of you. And in the meantime, you get experience lots of money.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just awesome.
Oh, yay.
It's so awesome. And I never would have, I thought I would do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I actually, because I'm all about ethical things,
Mhm.
things that mean a lot to me, things that I feel like I'm helping. And selling life insurance is huge. And I now see the importance of it after all the clients that I've spoken with and things that they're
Mhm.
going through or they went
Yeah.
through for final expenses, dealing with the loss of
Right.
a loved one. I'm like, wow, I never really thought of that. And you don't until you go through it.
Right.
And I haven't gone through that. So it was such an eye opener for me that I actually am very passionate about that now, just seeing what these other families have gone through. And so I feel good about selling it too. I don't feel like the car salesman,
Right.
where I have to sell it and push it. If I don't make the sale, I don't make the sale. I've educated the family on it. And that to me is
Mhm.
huge because I love education. I love, giving people the knowledge so they can do the right choice for them. This is the same
Yes.
thing that I do with my nutrition. It's just giving them the knowledge and they can do with it what they need to and what
Yeah.
fits best for them. So it's perfect alignment. It's so cool.
Yay. Ah,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
it is.
I am so happy for you.
Me too. I am very happy. And the fact that I can do it from home and still be home and I can train still, all of that stuff, it just is perfect. It's just an alignment.
Yay. Ah,
Yeah.
amazing. Very cool.
It is cool.
What is some coaching that I've given you or someone else in the last few months that has really made something click or made a huge shift?
Oh, when I was trying to do the state exam for this. Did you know that I was going to say that?
I was hoping that you would say that.
Oh my gosh, that was such an aha. If I can remember this correctly, just because it was such a like hit myself up against the head thing, like, what are you doing kind of thing. Because they were making these specific standards. And of course I was like, oh, I got to follow these. I got to do these and I've got to do it the right way and blah, blah, blah. So I was forcing and not, doing what I should have been doing, which was what you kindly reminded me of is I know you would have passed the first time if you just followed inspiration. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. Yes, she's so right. And the truth hurts when you hear it. Because I had, when I finally got the call with you, finally got to do it. I had tried 3 times and I'd missed it by one every time. And yeah, it was such an eye opener. And I knew too, of course, but you don't listen to it until
Right.
Cassie kindly, she does it from love and it's awesome when she does it. And you're like, oh my gosh, yes, she's right. And guess what? The next day I passed the test. Oh my gosh. This is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Uh,
But yeah, I mean, but then when I did that, I followed my old patterns, right? And
mhm.
it was all about how I had found balance. And then all that went by the wayside because I kept saying, oh, I only need to get through this. I only need to get through this.
Right.
And it was making the situation worse when I should have just done my self-love stuff and the rest would have happened and fallen into place. And it would have been inspirational, not desperation. It's so funny just looking back on it, in the moment you don't see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking back, I laugh. I'm like, oh my God, that was so silly. I can't believe I did that.
Yeah, it was very clear that you weren't seeing it. It was like, I've done all this and how do I can't even remember the question, but it was
I
almost
can't
like,
either.
like, how do you manifest passing the test? Or like,
Pretty much.
you
Pretty
know,
much.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
Oh, that's amazing. And so I have to ask, because I actually don't know this part of the story. Like after we did that coaching for the rest of the day, were you inspired to um, learn or study?
Yeah, I was actually.
Cool.
And it wasn't like hours and hours and hours all day long like I had been doing.
Mhm.
I went and saw the area that was consistent that I kept missing that one question, and I focused on just that area instead of all the material. It was so
Oh,
like that's where the
oh,
inspiration came from was that, but I also got back on track with my manifesting
mhm,
and doing my work and doing my meditation in the morning, my working out. So when I made that commitment to doing that, the
mhm.
inspiration said,
Yes.
okay, hey, let's do this. This is what you should do. You don't need to study all the material. It's just this one area that you're not doing well in. So just study that. And that's what I did and passed the test.
Yes. Love that. And
And
a
I
lot
passed it like I only needed a 70 to pass. I
yeah.
got 90.
Of course you did. Oh my goodness. And
Oh,
so from the law of attraction for our listeners, like doing all of that stuff is your future self. And if this job, this opportunity is in alignment with your future self, but if you're not being your future self, you're not going to be in alignment with getting it. And so that's where getting a 70 cuz clearly you were capable of getting like
clearly.
way better score than you needed.
It was crazy. It's just funny how,
Oh,
in the moment you don't see it, but
right.
then when you do it, you're like, oh, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Oh man, I
So
love
funny.
that.
I do
Yeah.
too.
So what's the coolest piece of evidence that you've seen
Mm,
recently?
the coolest piece of evidence. I think obviously watching David like still work
Mm,
is because
yeah.
he's so close, right? He made
Yeah.
more money last year than the year prior.
Yay.
And that was
Yes.
during a pandemic.
Yes.
That to me was great evidence.
Yes.
Great evidence.
Absolutely.
I look at everything that he does as evidence for me because
Mhm.
he is such a powerful manifester.
Mhm.
He says he's going to do something and then it shows up or
Mhm.
it just miraculously falls in his lap, and I'm like, wow, that is just so cool how he just has a knack for that. um so it's really cool to see that, and I use that as my evidence too, because I'm like, oh, well, he's getting all these patients, and
Yeah.
so that's huge evidence right there. So, and all the clients, or I shouldn't say clients, his are patients, all the patients that he has are like-minded like him,
Mhm.
and they're his perfect paying patients too, which is
Ah,
pretty cool.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it is amazing. So that is the biggest piece of evidence for me.
Ah, I love it.
Yeah.
Amazing. What do you think is the biggest way that you've grown and shifted over the past 5, 6 months?
Oh, I think, I say this every time, it's definitely deeper.
Mhm.
Learning how to trust more. Um, I'm definitely open minded. I've always been open minded.
Mhm.
I do get stubborn, but I'm catching myself more with that too. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm more aware of that, and it's great because then I can. Uh, David feels confident calling me out on it, and I don't
Mhm.
get angry
Mm,
with him
yeah.
anymore. I used to get so mad. I used to get so mad. I shut down. I
Mhm.
don't anymore. I openly accept it, and then I reflect on it. I don't do it right at the moment. I just kind of
Mhm.
say, okay, well, what's going on? Why would that be happening right now?
Right.
And I feel the feelings for it. There's a lot of emotions going on, and I'm very sensitive to a lot of that stuff. And I don't want to be anymore. So, in order to not do that, is I don't want to tell that story. And so for me, it's okay, then be open to hearing that you're being a certain way. And okay, then say, all right, that's why you're feeling that way. Feel it, let it go, and move on.
Oh, yay.
So that feels good. Being able to hear that, because it's always
Mhm.
hard to hear that we're doing something wrong or we feel like we're doing something wrong.
Right.
Um, but I just don't take that personally anymore. So I feel like I've grown in that aspect and that shift too. It's part of owning
Amazing.
my future self.
Yes. Oh, yay.
Yeah.
I love that.
I feel
Um,
confident. right?
Yes, yes, super
So
confident.
that is what that's all about, is, being able to be confident in how I'm feeling and what I'm doing. And okay, all right, let's feel it and then let's move on.
Yes. Oh, so huge for that. And also the confidence ties into being able to hear like, oh, you're not nailing that, right?
Yeah,
Because I think people don't realize this, but confident, or they don't put it together. Confident doesn't mean never shaken. It means you have this ability to look at yourself so that you can show up strong.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love it. Wow. This has been amazing. As we wrap up, any final words, anything you want to share?
I think I leave it with this all the time, and just because I feel like people need to hear it is, be kind to yourself, show up, do the work, because when you do, you get results.
Yes.
Just sitting there thinking about it, no, that doesn't give you results.
Does
You got to do
not.
something, even if it's a minute. I mean, we've talked about this in the
Yeah.
past. Even if
Mhm.
it's just a minute a day, do it,
Yes.
and that will move you in the right direction.
Absolutely. Start there.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, thank you, Kate. Oh, tell everyone where they can connect with you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So I am on all social media platforms. So K8 for Wellness is the way you can find me. And then also my website, which is k8forwellness.com.
Yay.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Thank you, Kate, for sharing this moment in your journey with us. And thank you all for being here. Make sure to come back next time and check out what else is awesome in Kate's life.
Thank you, Cassie.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on the Law of Attraction Manifesting Success Stories show. To learn how to attract more money into your life, go to your favorite book retailer and order Cassie's book, Manifest $10,000.